Welcome back, friends. So happy to have you once more. Installment of the best sim racing series on the planet, SRF Weekend Warriors, presented by RaceVoice, live on Apex. Jim Hodson joining me on commentary. It's Jack Kanan, and on production it is, of course, Jonathan Johnny Grabs Grabowski. Today, everybody, we come to you on round 9 of our championship series from Suzuka Circuit, the full Grand Prix layout. Jack, what is this race going to mean? And what's this spec racer Fords?
Yeah, great to be here once again, Jim. Yeah, and it's going to be a bit of a long one, I think, today because of the length of the circuit, and we have low-powered cars around here. Obviously, we were over in the UK, just I've ever seen on the platform, right down to the very last meters of the line, really. And yeah, it's going to be great around here. There's plenty of opportunity for passing around here, specifically in these cars. They're small enough, they don't have a lot of power, so they'll be well able to get a long slipstream down towards 130 or down the front straight, even into the Senna S section right there. It's still possible to go side by side, so this track should suit these cars very nicely.
Well, it certainly suits me. I do love this track, even though I am horrible at driving on it. Of course, we're looking here at Jean Pereira, your Spec 2 leader on points. Now, I had been saying when we've read the championship points previously that it seems to me that Jean should be at the top, but because of the way that the drop races were being calculated, he was not showing at the top, but now he is because they've changed the way that they calculate the points. Of course, jacket doesn't really mean anything until the end when all of the drop races are figured in, but still, Jean's won a couple of races. He should be, I think, at the top.
Yeah, so we've always got to account in drop rounds. They're almost the toughest things we have to kind of deal with, and just remember all the time that it doesn't really count until those last few rounds. So we just take the results as they come, really, in this series, and we should... I think that's the best way to do it, honestly, because honestly, I'm not good at a quick mapped out. You are either, when we're talking at full speed the whole way through the race. But yeah, no, the guys who are doing the points are far smarter than we are, so we're going to take their word.
So let's have a look quickly, since we've got just a few minutes while practice winds down. We'll have a look at the Spec 1 standings first. No surprise to see Austin Winter at the top of the points, leading Bobby West. A little bit surprising to me to see West in second place. I would have thought that'd be somebody like Arabian, who currently sits in P3. But again, everything will shake out over the course of the season, and it often benefits you to have solid mid-pack results. So that might be what's happening with fifth. It is Jörg Manny and Andres Bertoni there in Spec 1. In Spec 2, as I was saying, it is Jean Pereira with 377 points. A pretty close race, Jack, between Pereira, Mayer, Gibson, all these guys fairly close. Paolo Bremi, we just saw him on track a moment ago in his 555 machine. And of course, Nico Shook in fifth place. And the Masters standings, these are the antique racing drivers, gentlemen who are over 60 years of age, if such a thing even exists. It is Antonio Race in first place, followed quickly by Kenneth Batley, Tom Gradwell, 54 points out, and series organizer Steve Ray has got himself into fourth place, followed by Chris Murakami, whom we just saw a moment ago in his car, unless I'm mistaken. So there are your season's standings thus far. This is round 9, 12 to go. Still many drop races to be figured out, and just a few minutes left in practice before...
Yeah, you can see here we're looking at, yeah, it is the car of Elston. They're just practicing, kind of just running with each other, because we've seen throughout this series that the drivers are so close all the way through the race. So it's worth it just getting a bit of practice in the short time that you have of running in the draft of the other cars, and getting used to having cars in front of you and behind you on your rear end and on your front end. Yeah, so it is a good series in that way, that you'll become one of the best wheel-to-wheel racers out there, because if you constantly use and to the side of you everywhere, you'll have a car next to you. So you see now that we're going to be heading into the race very shortly of pit stop. And Jim, last week, pit stop, I mean, we had our race leader run out of fuel a few meters from the line, and gave Austin Winter a win by literally 1/10 of a second. So pit strategy is always very important.
It is indeed, and this man is very good at it. Here he is, Austin Winter, leading the series. We've seen a few mistakes from him. He did chide me for bringing that up during our interview in the at the end of the last race, but certainly part of racing. Right here, this sort of first corner on the track, to me, that is the hardest part of this track, just because you have to so precisely gauge your braking point, and you can very easily find yourself off the track there, even without a whole lot of power. So let's see what kind of formation lap we're going to have with these guys. Here is your grid. It is Hugh Haycox at the top of the qualifying. Well done to you, Hugh Haycox. He takes P1, followed by Austin Winner. So we're going to see a replay of the battle from last week on just a very much bigger track. They're followed by David Gaspers and Andres Bertoni on the second row. And from there, it's Maurizio Naselli and Florence Raven in 5th and 6th. They're followed by Josh Arnold, a great result for him, and Mayer in P8. And then it's Jörg Manny, Michael Dobeck, Jeff Pritcher, and Steve Elson. Steven Elson, well done to get P12. And then it's David Bohm in P13. A little bit surprising to see him that far down. A great driver, of course, as is West. Jerry McAreevy, the singing Scotsman, in P15, followed by Nico Shook in 16th. And from there, it's Miro Hraski, Tim Van Dormelen, Francesco Bernardo, Bob Kern, Antonio Race, Jason Perry, Thomas Renders, and Joost Simpkins in 24th. In 25th, it's our man Jean Pereira. And in 26th, it's Tom Gradwell, followed by Ken Batley, Ian Haycox, Dominic Eisenberg, Samuel Dick, Adam Bradshaw, Paolo Breme, Brian D. Short, Sergei Aksentiev, Johan Butenga, and Flavio Andalo in 36th. Plenty more to go, folks. It's Stevie Ray in 37th, followed by Ed Doherty, Richard Franco, Ian Gibson, Jeff Jacobson, Paul Jackson, Kirk Broadhurst, Joshua Flores, Antonio Jalbert, Mark Gehan, Jeff Cantor, Jeremy Lewis in 48th. And on down from there, it is Stephen Mitchell, Darren Kuhn, Sebastian Eisenberg, Gary Walbold, David Swig, Louis Verloop, and Jesus A. Rodriguez as we are just about to get this race started. Winner and Haycox, I think Winner's just a little bit ahead of Haycox, which he does not want to be. The lights are on our screens. We will very shortly be racing. I cannot wait to see how this one unfolds at Suzuka. Here we go. Down the straight, Haycox in the lead across the finish line, and we are racing. It's Haycox, Winner, Gaspers, and Bertoni. Look at that field of cars spread out into two lines there. That's Bertoni at the lead on the right. Swooping over to get a good turn in, it's Haycox, Winner, and Gaspers has made his way up to P3. Navigating this turn for the first time on cold tires, very dicey. Looks like Haycox took a slightly wider line now. And Jack, here we go into the S's.
Yeah, for the first time, really good start from everybody. Hugh Haycox controlled that very nicely. A tiny bit wide through the S's from Haycox that time. Winner will have a little bit of a kind of switchback momentum up through here, but again, very difficult to overtake. Just going into a line, everybody cleanly through, which is exactly what we want to see. Haycox, Winner, Gaspers, Bertoni, Naselli, your top five. Florence Arabian holds 6th at the moment. And you see Austin Winner now getting right on the tail of Hugh Haycox up towards the Degners for the first time. And nobody going to go for any overtakes this early on. I think they're pretty clear on where the most effective overtaking spot is on this circuit. It's down into 130 on the long straight, and as well this hairpin they're about to come up to now, you can really throw one up the inside if you're brave enough on the brakes, but nobody doing anything in this early phase, just being very patient with each other. And I'm sure Hugh Haycox has the bit between his teeth. He lost out on a win by a few inches last week. Let's make sure he takes enough fuel this week.
Yeah, as usual, a very hard-fought battle at the front as we're headed into Spoon for the first time. A slightly wide line there for Bertoni, which is surprising. Now this braking zone, very tough to see as you break into Spoon. The double apex corner, very hard to get right. Everybody going through well. It looks like there is Bertoni running in P4. And now I would not be surprised, Jack, out to have a little look at the side of Haycox's car. So yes, we're going to go too wide. Gasper's trying to decide whom he would like to follow. Weaving back and forth across the track, decides to slot in behind Winner, but leaves room for Haycox to get in. So, will we see any sort of a pass down here into the braking zone in this final chicane? It looks like Haycox is having a look at the outside, but Winner covers off the inside. And so the first lap is just about complete. Winner in the lead from Haycox, from Gaspers, and Bertoni.
Yeah, it was good stuff from Austin Winner. That knew Hugh Haycox wouldn't try and battle, and now Haycox is going to come straight back at him down towards turn 1. Gasper is trying to follow him and use that space that opens up. We're going to go 3 wide down towards turn the inside. Double overtake into turn 1 by David Gaspers, and that is beautifully teed up, and now he leads at the end of lap number 1. Lovely stuff from David Gaspers into Tim Winner, falls into 3rd place. But I tell you what, that was brave from David Gaspers. Not an easy corner to go 3 wide into, but he committed and he got the job done. But now it's a very tough task to lead around here. Expect a couple of lead changes per lap, as is usual in SRF.
Yeah, no question about it. As you said, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see somebody try to throw it up the inside after we go through the Degners at the Kobayashi hairpin. Believe it's named after Kamui Kobayashi for his aggressive passing there at the hairpin. I just read that during my prep for the for the broadcast. But Gaspers has got himself, it looks like, just a tiny little bit of a gap as we exit those Degner corners. It looks like he's just the tiniest bit ahead of Haycox, which will make that attempt on the inside just that much harder. And so now our lead group all back together, if you can even call it a lead group, Jack, because there's not much of a break. There's a tiny little gap in front of Fritcher there. Uh-oh, something's happened. Here is Brian Short in the 550 machine. And he's got some warning stickers on the rear of his car. But I don't think anybody needs to stay too far back if he's not on the racing surface.
No, absolutely not. And thankfully, I think he's managed to rejoin there. So Brian Short, no harm done really. Just a small little. Here we go down towards 130R again. Now Haycox with the slipstream, winner with the slipstream. Is anybody go for an overtake this time? Hugh Haycox is going to think about it, but no, you saw him lift off. You could hear Austin Winner lifting off into 130R as well. So they're not going to go for an overtake this time. A little bit of a hop of the curb from Haycox. Bertoni is kind of looking for some space as well. The 44 of Naselli thinking about a move into the Casio Triangle. He's not able to do that. But David Gaspers has held on for a lap, and everybody else being very patient behind him and defending the cutback line through the Casio Triangle as well very nicely. It actually might be Hugh Haycox, the man in charge. Austin Winner tucked in nicely behind him. Bertoni's looking menacing in behind as well, but it seems now they've settled into a very patient rhythm, and I assume as well, even in this early phase of the race, there is definitely some lift and coat on.
Yes, indeed. Let's see how the race is developing. Of course, we have 3 different divisions racing on track today. There is Spec 1, all of these cars down cars. They have numbers that are under 200. And then in P9, it is Mayer, who's running in the 308 machine. There he is. And then it is disgusting. But he's not only leading Spec 2, but running in 9th overall. So having a great day so far, Mayer. Well done to him. And it looks like Shook is running in 2nd in Spec 2 in the number 287 machine, currently running in 17th overall. Having himself a little battle with Prasky. Not uncommon to see those 2 cars duking it out on track. In 3rd in Spec 2, I believe it's going to be Renders in the... No, it'll be Simpkins in the... Right? No, sorry. Yes, Renders in the 641 machine. And then the Masters class, cars over with the car number over 900 currently led by Batley, the 922 machine, and then I think it'll be Bob Kern in the 906 and Ed Doherty in the 994. Surprising not to see Stevie Ray and Antonio race, but perhaps they had an issue early in the race. I'm not sure if Race is on the grid today. No, there he is. Oh, he's running in Spec 1 now. He's changed his number to 29. Interesting.
Yeah, interesting stuff there. But yeah, just on the Spec 2 there, Simon Meyer could actually flip the championship there into his favor if it carries on the way it goes. He's actually making up position. That is Bertoni with front end damage on the front end of that 11. Bit of a, looks like he's had an off there on the right hand side. Quite a lot of aero damage on the front of that car. And as they get through the Casio Triangle, Simon Meyer running really nicely. Oh, around goes Bertoni in the background. He's got contact from behind, and he's now gone around the Casio Triangle. Such a shame for him, but this will be the replay into the Casio Triangle. Goes in, turns it in for the left-hander. Does he get a clobber? A curb plus a clobber from the side, and Bertoni went around, and that spelled an end to his chances, which is such a shame. Damage on that car, and he's now going to have to try and limp back to pit lane with that one. And but yeah, Simon Meyer, he's currently running well, up in the top 10 overall. Jean Pereira is down in 24th place. If he holds this result, Jim, this could be a flip in the championship. And as we're going to see what happened to Bertoni back in the hairpin once again, he goes in, he's got a car in front of him there, and he just gets unsettled on the curb, and around it went. It was kind of a bit of an unlucky spin for Bertoni, but it's gone wrong twice in one lap for Bertoni, unfortunately for him.
I think he might have been able to survive that. He could have just had a little bump from Doe back there and then not and not planted. And here's Winner.
Oh, Austin Winner!
That's the hairpin. Winner spins at the hairpin. Naselli off the track. Winner now down to 7th place. That was just a move on the inside, as Jack was saying, at the hairpin, and did not go well for Winner. And because he lost the rear of the car as he was entering the pack of cars, so now Gaspers leads from Haycox from Arabian, and down to Manny, and then there's a little gap to Naselli, although Naselli off the track at Spoon. I wonder if he's having a little bit. He might have, have a broken tie rod or something along those lines.
Yeah, he's got front end damage by the looks of it, Jim, and also Austin Winner's car has got a massive dent in the side of it, so I can only link the two there, that there was contact maybe between Naselli and Winner. Winner maybe losing the car, and this Austin Winner's now, he's not got front end damage, he's got side damage on the left side of the car. You can see it on the way in, but Naselli's going to be suffering a lot more with the front end aero. He will not have any straight line speed. Handling will be a problem for him as well. Austin Winner drops to P6, and Naselli's going to pit and is going to have a repair time for that damage on the front end. Real shame for Naselli running in the top 5, but it's David Gaspers and Hugh Haycox. They're swapping around position now. Florence Arabian is the new challenger who joins in P3, with Jörg Mani running really nicely in P4 now in the 25 car. Austin Winner in the background, not wasting any time, and he gets his way through. No problems at all. But now it's a new 4-car train at the front with Gaspers, Haycox, Arabian, and Mani up here. But nothing really going on. Really, they're not fighting too hard. Gaspers and Haycox are swapping positions where we thought would happen. Now let's see if we could see what happened to Austin Winner on the way into the hairpin here, Jim.
Yes, he's looking at the rear of Muffle. Oh, he did get clipped. He did get clipped by Naselli. That's what did that side pod in. Your detective skills are functioning perfectly, Jack. You were able to predict exactly what happened there. Unfortunate. Seemed a long way back riding on with Winner's car there, but, well, there's nothing wrong with a little optimism. Just to bring things up slightly, we are looking at cars just behind David Bohm. I think, Jack, that something might have happened to Antonio Race just a moment ago. He's currently running in 18th overall, but I just saw him switching places with Van Dormelen and Shook. So not sure what happened there, but hopefully everybody is continuing. It seems that they are. We're looking here, of course, at Fritcher in the number 43 machine. He's running in this pack of cars. Bohm, Meyer, Dobek just ahead. And I think Dobek was pretty lucky. There's Race in the number 29 machine, that nice looking livery just behind Shook's car. Dobek lucky to not also go around when we were in that Casio triangle there when Bertoni got to the side of him. There he is. Would be great to see Dobek able to catch up to Arnold and make his presence felt in this lead train. Car looks pretty good for having been bounced around a little bit. And now Dobek a little bit in no man's land. Yeah. Fritcher shoving David Bohm's car down the straight. Going to do everything he can to try to get around Mayer's car. Fritcher's going to try it on the braking into the first turn. He comes through safely and is tucked up nicely under Bohm's car, and they've got to go really turned on the pace. He's able to drive away from these cars. These guys are very good drivers, so for Dobek to just be able to drive away from them, it's just some excellent driving on his part, I assume.
Yeah, certainly is. He's certainly pushing really close to the back of David Bohm on the way through the S's right there in the 43 as he chases after him through there. Obviously, great line speed up towards the Degners they come right now. Not an overtaking opportunity through here. Taking it nice and patient on the way in. Into Degner 2, gets really close on the brake, and a run up for Bobby West on the inside, which will turn to the outside line for the hairpin up here. Bobby's going to try and get in front and close the door on the way to the hairpin, but no, he doesn't need to. He's in front before the brake. Pounces and takes P9 in this one, so perfect. And that just shows you that was a tiny mistake from Fritcher right there, and that was all it took for Bobby West to make his way through. Back to the lead right there. Florence Arabian swapping places with Hugh Haycox on the previous lap to take second place, but David Gasper still in the lead. Got a small gap. That's not really a lot. As always, we approach 14 minutes gone in this race. Jürgen Mann's still hanging on. Austin Winner, you can see him in P5 in the background, not catching up to these guys. Obviously the damage is affecting him a little way down here as we go down towards 130R. Arabian in the slipstream down towards 130R. Haycox looks, nobody going to move here. Keeping it nice and steady for now. No, we're going to think about a move to the Castle Triangle, I would wager either. Onto the brakes into here, and no, they're not going to try anything. So David Gaspers will hang on. The Swiss driver hanging in P4. Austin Winner is about 2 seconds back from these guys, and Hugh Haycox now has got a great run out of the Casio Triangle, going to cut up underneath Florence Arabian and get the slipstream from David Gaspers. There's not really a hell of a lot that Florence Arabian can do about this, and Hugh Haycox will move back into second place. A personal best lap on the previous time, inside line for him into the turn number 1, and he slots back into P2 with nothing, no too many issues right there. A couple of cars in pit lane, as we'll probably have the first early pit stoppers now, but nobody going to try anything in this lead train just yet, as Austin Winner and Arnold are affecting Austin Winner. He's having to battle with these cars, and that's not letting him get up to these guys, so he's swapping places with Arnold and is not able to get away from him, which is unusual. But obviously pod damage on that car, it may not be a lot. It was a hefty clatter in the side for Austin Winner, and I'm sure it is in a way affecting straight line speed, possibly cornering as well, but he's doing well to hang on to it.
Yes, absolutely, he is. You hate to think about somebody being on track. Well, I hate to think about myself being on track with a car that's already damaged. I have enough trouble keeping the car on the track as it is, as we exit Degner 2 one more time and head toward the hairpin. You would think, as you mentioned, Jack, that Winner would be able to close this gap. A bit of damage could certainly be holding him back. Let's see how things are developing on down the timing tower. Mayer still leading Spec 2 in the number 308 overall. There he is. Well done, Mayer. And second in Spec 2, it'll be Shook running in 14th overall. Looks like he is still battling. Yep, that's Shook, who's just behind Van Dormelen, who's just behind Harry in the number 97 machine. But so Shook being towed along, second in Spec 2, and third in Spec 2, it will be Renders, 16th overall in the next group back. There he is, battling away with Batley and Simpkins just behind. Masters, led by Batley in the 922. Although, again, yeah, Batley, 15th overall, the 922 machine. And second in Masters, Kern in the 906, running 20th overall. And again, I think something must have happened to Race, because he's currently, he's running 45th. And it's just surprising
I
to see
believe I spotted some rear end damage on the gym. Sorry to cut across here. I think Antonio Rice was carrying rear end damage earlier on. As we're gonna maybe see it here, I'm not sure what has gone on with him, but he's definitely struggling around today, and there was definitely, I would imagine, yeah, he unfortunately picked up the rear end damage, and that has been, I'd imagine he's just kind of struggling around. And it's going to hurt a lot around this circuit, the aerial damage on the rear end for Antonio Race. So he's still running, that's the main thing. But by the way, while that was going on, we've had a very early pit stop. Austin Winner has pitted and is now on his way. He's down in 20th place now. So I think they do have a faster pair, I think, in this series. I wonder if he took him. I'm trying to see if the damage is still on that left-hand side of the car as we head through the Senna S's section, and it has been fixed. He's taken he has taken the faster pair, and probably his fuel as well. Now, I imagine Austin Winner's going to try and go for a massive undercut here. He's got to get through this traffic as quickly as he can. Passes Butenga with relative ease. He's also carrying damage, so this is going to be head down push moment for Austin Winner now.
Yep, it absolutely is. Butenga battling himself behind. I think he's fighting with Broadhurst. Spurs from Arabian, from Haycox. That's Gaspers in the lead there, of course. Manny's still hanging on to this group, which pleases me very much to see. Seems like he is just getting better. So is the rest of the field. But excellent work so far by Jörg Manny, hanging on to fourth. He seems, Jack, as though he's just about to drop off, but he's just clinging to it by his fingernails and not letting go. You love that.
Yeah, you definitely do. I reckon he's also doing a bit of lifting Cole's fuel saving and just sitting in behind as well. just managing himself now, and he can react as well to what the others do in felts, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Peels into pit lane right on cue. Thank you, Jörg Mani, for making me look smart on the way into pit lane. He comes right now, so that's probably to respond to Austin Winner. If he can get out in front of Austin Winner, that'll be excellent for him in his fight in the top end of this race. Personal best for Florence as well. About halfway through right now, so Jörg Mani has peeled into pit lane. There is, I was actually going to give a mention to Jesus Rodriguez, because Chip, he started last. He's up at 22nd. He's made up 36 places in this race and continues to climb. Well, that'll be another position, as Bradshaw's slow on the outside. That's another place for him. Well done, that man.
Yeah, well, we don't really have an official driver of the... I think we should start one just for Rodriguez in his drive today to gain that many places. He's up to 35 now, 35 places, running 20th overall. Looking here again at Jörg Mani. Quickly, while we are just about at the halfway point of the race now, we will see more people pitting and that pit strategy come into play. So the race is going to very much get exciting over the next 20 minutes. But quickly, I want to say RaceVoice is proud to be the exclusive sponsor of the Weekend Warrior Spec Racer Ford Racing Series. Take your driving to the next level with on-track audible performance alerts with RaceVoice and RaceVoiceSIM. You can hear miles per hour, turn entry and exit speeds, upshift alerts, and other performance metrics which are geared by you. Go faster with the speed of voice. Plus, Weekend Warriors get 50% off annual SIM pricing using the promo code WW50. That is McAreevy going around there. I think he had a little help in the rear, but do check out RaceVoice at www.racevoice.com. Unfortunate, yep, McAreevy got just a little bit of a tap there from Hrasky, I do believe, and that sent him around. There's a car crabbing along. That is a serious crab. It looks like the entire left side of that car is disabled, Jack.
Yeah, that's been in the wall pretty heavy. Yeah, that's Doherty in the 994. That's crabbing along there. That's definitely going to be a tow back to pit lane for him. None of the leaders is what happened to Ed Doherty, and he's come on. Oh God, yeah, nasty one on the way out of the hairpin, and continues on and right into the wall that Danny Kvyat hit all those years ago. And yeah, Bradshaw involved, and now that's probably one of the most broken spec racer Fords I've seen in a long time.
Well, here we are with the leaders, and Haycox is now taking the lead from Gaspers from Arabian. Gaspers all over the rear of Haycox's car, looking to take that lead back. And we are very likely, as this race goes on, that's just how this series is. It's one of the many things that makes it the best sim racing series in the world. Arabian also having a look there at the rear of these two cars. And oh no, Gaspers' connection issue. You hate to see that. But around we go, and well done again to Haycox for taking that lead. Exiting Degners. We'll see if Gaspers has a look at the hairpin just here. He is pretty close. Let's see. Nope, opportunity, of course. And there was a car in the wall back there. Was that Renders? A car in the wall at the hairpin. We didn't get a good look at it. We were busy watching these cars go by. I wonder if that car... Very likely. Well, the excitement continues.
Yeah, certainly does. And I noticed just that Austin Winner did manage to come out in front of the other car that did pit. It was Jörg Mani, did manage to get out in front. And imagine this would be the car in the wall, Thomas Renders, as he came in. And seems that he's managed to hopefully tow back to pit lane. Hopefully he's managed to get going again, Thomas Renders. But we'll see what happened to Thomas Renders here. He's seems to be chugging along pretty okay in the 641 on the way up to but well, he's back going again. That's the main thing for Thomas Renders there. And in comes David Gaspers now. That's the first leader to pit to respond, and I reckon these guys are going to be Austin Winner. He's been chugging along really nicely in 14th place, managed to get out in front of Jörg Mani by about 4 seconds. So Gaspers needs to get this right. These guys carrying on for an extra lap or two, and Haycox will lead Arabia. And we're going to keep an eye on where David Gaspers will come out in relation to Austin Winner, because we know Austin Winner is very good at his pit strategy, and we'll see if this will work out for him as we'll jump down the order here. He's got the very last pit box on the pit entry as well here as he's on his way out now. Where is Austin Winner compared to him on pit exit now? As we'll see on his way down, here comes Austin Winner, and he is out in front. Thankfully for David Gaspers, the gap is not too big though. Austin Winner's done a great job, personal best on that previous lap, and he's brought the gap down to about 4 and a bit seconds. But of course there's a few other cars that will slot into that gap for him nicely. He has warm tires as well, so Austin Winner is absolutely not...
And you would expect him, as you say, with those warm tires to be able to navigate this part of the track, this very technical S's, and then on into the Degner corners a little bit better. Tires just having a little rest in the pit there, but Gasper certainly no slouch. And here are your leaders, Haycox and Arabian. Arabian all over the rear of Haycox. Much point in fighting for the lead here from Arabian's perspective, since things are going to get very much shaken up in the pit stop. The question will be, which of these cars will decide to pit first, and where will that place them when they come out relative to cars like Gaspers and Winner, currently running 11th and 12th overall? Haycox really hanging it out there.
Yeah, he was right off the circuit. I think it was a small error from him, just running a bit wide on the exit of Spoon Curve. I reckon both of these will probably come in to respond to David Gaspers, because the gap between them is kind of stable at the moment. But of course now Gaspers will have, of course, some clean air in front of him, and these guys I think need to stick together, either stay out another lap or both go in together to see where they're going to come out. A little slide from Haycox. Maybe that might be an opportunity for Florence Arabia to react as they come out, and he's going to stay out. Of course, Haycox in, Arabian will stay out, and this will be in response to David Gaspers. Let's see if Arabian can make the overcut work, but Haycox is responding to David Gaspers. The gap has remained stable, and it's about 32 seconds. It's going to be very close between Gaspers and Haycox. They were nose to tail on the pit entry. Perry van this lap with just about 13 minutes left of this race. That'll put Dolbeck, West and Meyer into second, third and fourth. And these guys all coming in together. They've been in the train the whole way through this race, and they've stuck together. Here comes David Gaspers now. We're looking for the car of Haycox. Let's see, has he put enough fuel in this time? He's out in front of Gaspers as they head towards turn 1. Of course, momentum will favour David Gaspers though on the way through. First part of the curve, he'll carry a lot of speed in here. There he is, trying to catch up, but he has managed to get the job. We've got a car off. The 26 car is off in turn number 1. Thankfully, it doesn't appear to have any damage. Has got back going again, thankfully for him. But again, Haycox has managed to get the job done out in front. But now it's all down on him. And if judging how close the series is, I reckon he's going to fit himself right between those two cars.
Yes, well, we've seen this before, haven't we? Only just last week. You know, it really does come down to the pit strategy in this. I love that about the series, that there is a pit stop in the middle. You know, I just think it's the best, and it leads to such great racing. Unfortunately, not a great race necessarily last week for Haycox, who ran out of gas just on the line. As you said at the top of the broadcast, we're looking here at Mayer and West battling in third and fourth overall. These guys have not yet pitted. Arabian, Dobeck, West, Mayer, and Simpkins, none of whom have pitted, and they're all running down through fifth. You would expect Arabian to come in here next time by. But yes, it does seem to have worked out well for Haycox. Gasper's now just about... There he is. All that remains to be seen is whether Haycox can hang on for the rest of the race. Not to mention, where will Arabian come out once he finally stops for his pit stop, which I would expect him to do so this time by, and indeed he does. Yes. Arabian comes out relative to Haycox, Gaspers, and Winner, currently running 6th, 7th, and 8th overall. But now everyone is pitting. I assume Simpkins will do the same. And Haycox will have the lead if he does. There is Haycox. Gaspers all over the rear of his car. Seems to me Haycox having a little bit of a trouble with the Casio triangle there, that chicane there in the rear, bouncing around a little bit. He's going to try to protect back from Gaspers. But let's take a look at the pit exit as we come by. There's Arabian coming out. So Arabian will be in danger from winner for P3.
Yeah, and it's side by side up front, and Gaspers has slotted in front of Hugh Haycox there. Side by side, Gaspers hangs him off through the first part of the course, but it's Florence Arabian just coming out in front of Austin Winner right there. The gap was 31 going in, so either a slow stop for Arabian or took a little bit too much fuel than he needed, and he's dropped into the clutches of Austin Winner, who's now back in 4th place. But David Gaspers getting the job done into turn number 1, but Hugh Haycox will try his best to stick with him. If these guys start to work together to try and get up to the back of them, right here, look at Austin Winner with that repaired car into Degner 1, trying to get another win on his belt. But maybe he feels that he's quicker than Florence Arabian at the moment, trying to do up towards the hairpin. Is he going to think about this? He's looking towards that corner, gives him a little nudge on the way through to let him know I am here, and into the hairpin. He will not have a look just yet, but he's trying to force Florence Arabian into a mistake, and as these guys battle, they're losing a little bit of time to the leaders. So if Florence Arabian and Austin Winner want to catch up, they need to work together and not battle. But look at these guys, David Gaspers and Hugh Haycox, absolutely locked together in battle in this late phase of the race. Just about 8 minutes to be right on board. Haycox comes through a big Hicko oversteer through Spoon Curve. He hangs on to battle, cost him a lot of momentum down towards 130R, and that was a rare to be running that car with a very sketchy setup on it. Not too much rear end on it, and it seems to want to swap ends in him constantly. He's doing well to hang on to it through those corners. Second behind David Gaspers, which is exactly what he wanted to see, but we'll have to wait and see if that gap remains. But a little bit of oversteer, and that is a second lost already.
It is so easy to get on the power just a touch early at the exit of Spoon there. Winner here all over the rear of Arabian's car. I think he's definitely going to see if he can maybe make a move down. See him give Arabian that little tap as they headed to the hairpin, but now he moves to the outside, and I think he's going to sail on by as we go across the start-finish line. We are too wide, and it's too very wide since this is a Grand Prix track. There's plenty of room there on the straight. So here we are with Winner now in P3. He's taken that place from Arabian, but Arabian will continue to fight. And that looks like Haycox had issued the gap to Gaspers now nearly a second. So if Gaspers plays his cards right, and he does hold the fastest lap of the race, does Gaspers, at that 25.8, 225.8. Slightly faster than anybody else on the day. If Gaspers can get that gap second, he might just be able to hold off Haycox. And Haycox, again, I think, Jack, is going to be in danger of possibly running out of fuel because his pit time stop for Haycox just 11:17 versus Gaspers and Winner 11:70 and 11:42 respectively, 12 seconds dead from Arabian. So he might be running low on fuel again.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting one for it to happen 2 weeks in a row, but he did put it down to the fact that he was carrying some front end damage, which actually increased his fuel consumption by just the tiniest margin. As Matt Kareev is going to go around it earlier on, it was helped around early. Thankfully, doesn't make any contact with the wall. It gets back going quickly, but loses about 4 places right there. Looped it around in Degner number 2. Let's have a look at that again as he heads in the 67, hops the curb in Degner 1. Onto the entry for Degner 2, just over-rotates on the way in, and there's no way he's saving that. I don't think he actually got tapped at all, just looped it around by himself, and the camber certainly didn't help him there, but he's got going again, no contact, no... I'm done nearly 3 wide into the Spoon Curve right here. This is the 20 of Van Dormelen back. These guys fight to get out for P11 in this class. This is very tight racing, as it always is in this series. Now towards 130R, of course, Van Dormelen is carrying time for Haraski. This could go 3 wide into 130R, and thankfully Van Dormelen shuts the door to stop that in its tracks. Elson to the inside into 130R. He's in front before they get there, and he's up into 11th place at 25.8 for Haycox. He's taking the lead. Hugh Haycox is leading on the way down the turn where he's got the inside line. What a lap that was. Inside line for Haycox, and he retakes the lead. That was a hell of a lap back a lap ago, and all of a sudden he's back in the lead.
Yes, and he did take the fastest lap of the race away from Gaspers, but I'm reading on the information screen that they're both 5.80. So there must be some other numbers that we're not seeing there. Yeah, takes the fastest lap of the race, and the lead does minutes here. We should have, I'm guessing, 2 or 3 laps left to go, possibly 4. Jack did warn you that we're not very good at math. And I'm proving that to 100% be correct. Just there in the rear of your picture, you can see Winner and Arabian still battling it out for P3. Winner would dearly love to catch these guys. Not sure he has the time to do it, but he very well may. That gap looking like about 2 seconds there, 2 seconds and change. Quite a lot in these cars. He'll be out of drafting range as Haycox and Gaspers once more go through the hairpin and on to Spoon again. Gaspers will be thinking to himself, I have no doubt, that Haycox is not very good at Spoon. Maybe he doesn't have Spoon completely dialed, so maybe Gaspers is waiting and will try to pounce and take that lead back here in just a moment. Or maybe I'm projecting just because I have a very hard time with this corner series Spoon. It's just so, it's so tough.
Yeah, it's a really tricky corner. It invites you to carry too much speed in. And again, Gasper's getting it right on the edge there. We've got a lovely exit on the way down towards 130R. So this could be his opportunity to try and take the lead here. Look, you'll see the slipstream in effect right now. And the drafting, but you can see him, he actually backs off, lifts off, and stays behind Hugh Haycox here. We're looking back from Haycox's car. Different lines on the way in. A lot of curb from Haycox. Gasper's not taking any at all on the way in. And you can see Austin Winner's taking about 2/10 out of them on that lap. Gap comes down to 2.3, 2.4 seconds. So it's very close. And again, Gasper's a little mistake on the way out there, and that loses him a 10th or 2. So Hugh Haycox now 37 minutes gone with. That'll be about 2 laps, and the fastest lap for Hugh Haycox as well. To add to this as well, you can see Winner matching him on that lap as well, 225.77, and just 200 between them. And Florence Arabian just trying to stay behind Austin Winner right now, not overtaking him, but just staying with him and using him as kind of his way up to the leaders right now. Dobek and Jürg Mani battling for P5 as well down there. Dobek gets the better of Jürg Mani on the way down towards turn 1. There he goes, Dobek in the 42. Gets past Jürg Mani, who was up in that lead battle earlier, but has not been able to keep that pace up throughout this race. And Dobek is now up into the top 5, so good drive from Michael Dobek in the 42, and he carries on his good form today. But as well, these guys, Van Dormelen, Hrasky, Elson, still together in 11th, 12th, and 13th. Hrasky there at the head of that train. We're looking at Van Dormelen in the middle in the 20 car. And they're just a little ways off the back of Fritcher, who are now down up in P10. But there is that Gasper's getting super close into the hairpin. And you can almost see, almost gets into the rear of him here. But it should be the last lap when we cross the line next time. It'll be very, very tight. But we may get another lap in. But they'll be trying to frantically calculate this on their relatives as to whether they're going to get another lap in or not. So David Gaspers might already be thinking about the move in the slipstream on the way into Spoon. Haycox sorts it out on the way into the first part. This is where he got the oversteer last time. Nice and smooth this time from Hugh Haycox. But again, David Gasper's mega exit on the way out of Spoon curve down towards 130R, tucks into the slipstream. This time he's going to go for the overtake with the overspeed on the outside line. Here comes David Gaspers, lots of room given by Hugh Haycox. Going to tuck right back into that slipstream immediately as they head through 130R. For the second to last time. They should get across the line for just one more lap, but it will be very, very close. David Gasper's onto the breakers over the Casio triangle. Haycox gets right up underneath them here as they head through the last couple of corners down across the start finish line. So we got one more lap to go. Gasper's at the head of the field. Hugh Haycox is second. Austin Winner just 2 seconds back right now. Another 4/10 taken out of the leaders this time. Gasper's at the head of the field. Here comes Hugh Haycox. Outside line. Gasper gets the fastest lap of the race as well. And Haycox will go to the outside line of turn number 1 of the 34 car, trying to sweep around him. Very tricky overtake to do around here. They're going to go side by side through turn 1, but Gaspers holds on to the inside line. But this is going to go right to the line once again, as it does every single week.
Indeed, and we cannot wait to see how it works itself out. Just quickly, I want to talk about some battles that are going on up and down the timing tower. It looks like there's a great battle going on between Van Dormelen and Elson, running in 12th and 13th. Very close to one another, every bit as close as the leaders are. There is Shook, Van Dormelen, and Elson, all very close together. Another great battle going on between the group of cars, Bertoni, Bernardo, and Haycox. They're all battling 18th, 19th, and 20th overall. Very close. There are your leaders as well. Another great battle, Rodriguez, Pereira, Kern, and Race. Looks like they are all stuck together. doing a great job on track, having fun, no doubt. Ferrero, of course, your leader in Spec 2 points so far. Here we're still looking at your leaders. Gasper's in the lead from Haycox. And unfortunately, whatever happened to Naselli, he chose not to complete the race. He was in this lead group earlier, had a little bit of an incident, chose not to stay in the race, so his damage was terminal, unfortunately. But we're looking here at Gasper's getting ready to navigate Spoon for the final time. Haycox all over the rear of his car. Haycox will need to get something done here. He's got a faster entry, which is a little bit terrifying. As Jack said, this corner does invite you to carry, perhaps, but Haycox being very smooth, very calm under pressure at the exit of Spoon, gets a pretty good job done, and will now slot into the slipstream of Gasper's number 17 machine in hopes of being able to make a pass here at the Casio Triangle at that very final chicane. Haycox moved to the outside, so he's going to try to get the pass done even before they get to the braking zone. They will go through too wide. Hopefully, if there was, and we're headed now into the braking zone. Winner going wide as well. Haycox with a nose in the lead as they enter the chicane, loses the rear. Gaspers tries to stay out of him. A little bit of contact there in the chicane, but they both continue. So Gaspers just behind Haycox as we round the final curve for the final time. Haycox will move to the inside and will take the bye there on the final lap. Excellent work. Takes the win. Haycox from Gaspers, from Winner, from Arabian. What a battle it was on track. We're looking at Mayer here, navigating the final time, and will come around, will lead, and he will win Spec 2. Mayer in the number 308 machine. Next along, across the finish line, will be Simpkins, who will take P2 in Spec 2. Looking here at Van Dormelen and Elson getting across the line there. There's Shook in the rear. McAreevy manages to get his car across the line. Here comes Batley, who will take the win in the Masters. On to him. Batley. And in second place in Masters, it looks like it will be Kern, probably running 24th overall. Lots of cars come across the finish line now. There is Kern running just behind. Well, we knew, Jack, that it was going to be quite a race on this. There's Stevie Ray. Series organizer Stevie Ray, thank you for all your hard work. Crazy race, you know, a little bit lost for words, not sure how to describe it, but, you know, underpowered cars, and just a, you know, very, you know, your, as you said, your sort of English tracks.
Oh no.
Oh no.
We have, of all people to run out of fuel, driver of the day, Jesus Rodriguez, who has come from the back of the grid, and he's run out of fuel a couple of corners before the end. He's trying to roll that thing down towards the start. For this bit is uphill, and I don't think he's going to make it, Jim. He's not going to make the finish. Oh no, can somebody please give him a push? We need somebody to give him a push. I don't think there's anybody left on the track. He's not going to finish. Jesus, oh, what a shame. That is painful for Jesus Rodriguez, who started in the very last position, up nearly 36 places, and goes out a few corners before the end, but oh no, that's not going well for him. But yeah, that was a hell of a finish for our top three. Well held Hugh Haycox. He took a lot of speed into the Casio Triangle to try and keep Gaspers behind him. Gaspers obviously did very well to not get into him as well and not push him around. So Haycox, a redemption for the last last week's mishap at the line. David Gaspers just by 0.2 of a second misses out. Austin Winner, great recovery, up to third place in front of Florence Arabian. Michael Dobek gets P5 as well, and Jörg Mani picks up P6 as well. David Boom picks up 7th, Jeff Fritcher in P9, and Simon Meyer as the Demo Derby starts in the background. Simon Meyer, good job from him. He picks up the win in Spec 2, as he said, and that should flip the championship in his favour going into the next round. Good result from him in the top 10 as well. Overall, Tim Van Dormelen, Stephen Elston, Mira Hotraski, and Jerry McAreevy, Yao Simpkins in P15, Jason Perry, and Ken Batley, who takes the win in the Masters Series, and that should also swing the championship in his favour in the Masters standings as well, with Antonio Rice not having a good day at the office. So total for Spec 2 and the Masters, of course, pending any investigations or any drop rounds that we have to take account for. But Austin Winner will still still be comfortably at the front of Spec 1. Ken Batley, Andreas Bertoni in P18, who had that early issue in the race. Then we have Ian Haycox, Thomas Renders in 20th, Samuel Dick, John Pereira in 22nd. There's Antonio Rice, he comes across in 23rd place, a couple of positions behind Ken Batley. Bob Kern in 24th, Johan Buitenga, Nico Schuck, Tom Gravwell and Jeff Cantor in 20th place. All these guys still finishing. Stevie Ray, Flavio Andelo, Ian Gibson, David Swig, Stephen Mitchell, Francesco Bernardo, Gary Walbord, Kirk Broadhouse and Sergei Aksentiev. And then we have a few more: Paolo Breme, Paul Jackson, Darren Quinn, Jesus Rodriguez, still classified, but that was our man who ran out of fuel at the very end. Richard Franco, Adam Bradshaw, Sebastian Eisenberg, Josh Arnold, non-finish. Louis Verlup, non-finish. Dominic Eisenberg, and non-finish. Ed Doherty, non-finish. Jeff Jacobson, Maurizio Naselli, Joshua Flores, Mark Ian, Antonio Gilbert, and Jeremy Lewis. All these guys, of course, non-finishes in this race. Well,
that was
fantastic job from everybody.
Absolutely, yes. And we did, on one of the times by, we saw a car off there at the first turn, and that was Verloop's car, whom we saw there off at the first corner. We got a couple of drivers waiting to be interviewed here. Let's start with our winner, Hugh Haycox. Congratulations on your win today. How are you feeling?
Well, happy, I guess.
Yeah, I would hope so. Quite a battle on track out there. Were you... I hate to bring up a sore subject, but did you have any concerns that you might again run out of fuel?
No, this time I took plenty of fuel.
Good. So you came out of the pits, and well, you had a lot of work to do after your pit stop.
Yeah, I thought I could maybe gap David just enough, but he was, the slipstream is about 1.1 here. And I kind of gave up. As soon as he got to 1.8, I gave up pushing. It's hard to keep pushing like this.
Yeah. Well, I think you made the right choice, and it's certainly borne out by your results. So it seemed like you struggled a little bit with that sort of... seemed like you might have had a bauble or two that really left the door open for gaspers there. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I really don't. It's the one corner I hate on this track, but...
Yeah,
I didn't feel like I was losing. There was a couple moments through there, but nothing bad.
So you really seem to gather yourself together, though, as the sort of laps were winding down and you're battling with Gasper, who managed to have a great spoon complex, and you could tell that you're catching on Gaspers, and you decided to go ahead and pass before the braking zone of the final chicane.
Yeah, well, we were basically the opposite. No, we were in the same situation, so I knew exactly what to do. Mm-hmm. And I just went a tiny bit too hot in the chicane and cut across in front of him. So my apologies to him, but...
Yeah, well, at least... Yeah. Certainly a good spot to send the car around and have a much worse incident than you did, but, you guys managed to both keep...
Yeah, he did a good job. He didn't, he's a good driver, so he didn't drive into the back of me or anything, but, props to him. Great drive.
Yeah. Well, props to you both. Yeah, well, thank you so much, and congratulations on your win. Glad to see you really mixing it up at the front with these guys. Sorry to see that issue with Naselli, of course, but, a great race today. And all right, we do have a couple of guys waiting to be interviewed here. Jack, you want to take your pick?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's grab in Austin Winner, have a chat with just every week. Austin, nice to have you back once again. Third place, again, a little issue early on. Just talk us through what happened in that point, or was it something else? Was it a little tap in the rear?
No, it was all self-inflicted. I dropped my right sides onto the grass, and then you get that yaw force going. I was going to take some people out with me, so I just locked it down, and I think I ruined Maurizio's race because he hit me, and it's not, I don't want to say he hit me. I was parked in his path, so I apologize to him. That was all my fault.
Either way, still a good recovery from yourself. So when the incident happened and you noticed that you had a bit of damage, was it immediately take the faster pair, get as much fuel as we can, and then go to the end?
No, I actually didn't see too much damage on my car from the cockpit, so I thought I might be pretty okay, but catch up to them. So I could have pitted a couple laps earlier and been fine, and maybe if I did, I would have had better results. But I was trying to run hot laps, and just took me a couple of laps to realize I wasn't up to speed.
Of course, and we're 9 rounds in right now as well, so you're still comfortable at the top of the championship, Austin. So what's going to be the plan for the rest of the rounds? Just keep it clean and hold on to that lead?
Nah, we'll race every time. You know, if you're just going for playing for points, it's no fun. Maybe other people are, so no offense. If some, you know, I'm here for fun, not for the championship. So if I end up wrecking myself going for a win and lose the championship, that's, you know, at least I had fun doing it.
Great attitude to have, Austin. Always a pleasure to have a chat with you. Fantastic race up to P3. Before you let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a quick thank you to?
Sure, either to your broadcast or my Twitch stream at the same time. I think they probably have both up at the same time, so I appreciate everybody that watches. It's a good time, and thank you.
Well, Austin winner P3 today. Congratulations on the podium. Great recovery, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
That was Austin winner. Always nice guy to have a chat to.
Yeah. Absolutely. So let's have one final interview today. Congratulations, Simon Mayer in the number 308 machine, your Spec 2 winner today. How are you?
Yeah, good.
Spec 2 winner today. How are you?
Yeah, good.
Well, you must not have been drinking any Jägermeister, or you would feel terrible right now.
No.
Wise and good advice for everybody. So you had a great race out there, and you won Spec 2, and we think that might do enough to the battle between you and Pereira for the Spec 2 points. Of course, all that'll shake out over the course of the rest of the drop races and all that, but you've got to be feeling pretty good about yourself.
Yeah, it was a track. I've been having a couple of problems the last few weeks by throwing it off the track early on in the race, having good qualities and then ruining it after 1 or 2 laps. So yeah, it was nice to keep it together all races this race.
Well, not only the Spec 2 win, but 8th overall is nothing to sneeze at, especially in a.
Yeah, this year the racing is, the quality of the races is absolutely insane. I think it's my 3rd full season this season. Obviously Spec 1, you've got your top drivers in there. They don't need mention. There's a whole handful of drivers who can on any given day mix it up with the best of them. So it's good to come out on top this week.
Congratulations. We are running out of time a little bit, but it's great to have a talk with you. Mayor, thanks for stopping by. Again, congratulations today on your win in Spec 2.
Coverage.
Well, it is good coverage, if you don't mind me saying so. Do remember to follow us on all the socials, YouTube, Twitch. Click the thing that makes the thing happen so you'll get notifications whenever we are going to talk about a race, whenever we're going to see one. I just love them every week. I've been Jim Hodgson, joined by Jack Kanan, and of course on production it was Jonathan Grabowski. This has been SRF Weekend Warriors, presented by RaceVoice. Can't wait to see you again next time.